Good morning. Good morning. Join me this morning. It's our well-being show this morning. How are you doing this morning? Join me this morning. It's our spiritual and well-being show this morning. We're talking about how we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep killing it because guess what? It's working, whether we want to believe it or not. This morning, be encouraged. And it's all about how we are vibrating this morning, but we can have whatever we want, whatever we need. We need to vibrate high this morning. Join me, share the show before we start. We're going to win this morning. We're going to win. It's all about how we're vibrating this morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. For those that are listening for the first time, it's the mental health and our well-being show this morning. And today we're talking about how we're going to keep moving, keep killing it, because whether we want to believe it or not, we are actually winning. We are actually winning. It might look scary out there, but we are actually winning this morning. And so we're going to be kicking off at 10:30 this morning. I just want to share the show to a few people. So I'm going to play that tune one more time. Here we go. And let me know how you are this morning. Let me put the comment button up. Good morning. It's Sunday. I know it's early. Good morning. All of you that were raving yesterday, wake up. How are you doing? Let me know how you're doing this morning. Join in with the show this morning. We're talking about how we can keep winning this morning. And I tell you, we do need to keep winning, don't we? We do need to keep winning this morning. We need to stay focused. We need to stay on track. We need to stay on point on this game of life. On this game of life, we have to stay on track. I'm just thinking, okay, where can I share it? How are you doing this morning? Let me know how you're doing. We got to keep winning this morning. Keep killing it this morning. That's what we're talking about. And it's all about energy. It's all about how we're flowing this morning. If we're gonna ever realize our goals this morning, where's your energy at? How are you vibing this morning? We're talking about how you can stay on track, how you can win this game of life despite the cards that has been dealt. We're talking about how you can win this morning. So join in the conversation. We're streaming live on Anchor FM via Spotify, and we're also streaming live on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe. How are you going to win this morning? Because it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. You can win this morning. And so, welcome to the show. Welcome this morning. Okay, and so before we start this morning, send me a message, tell me where you are. I want to give some time for some people to join me this morning. So let me know how you are. Send me a message, send me a hi, say something. And I know it's early, but we're going to be talking about how we can win this morning. You know me. I like inspiring and encouraging everyone this morning, including myself. How are we going to win? You're killing it. You're killing it this morning. You can win the game of life this morning, despite life's challenges. And I know that we're facing the cost of living crisis where we can see everything's going up. In fact, my students, we were doing an email to the, like a dummy email to the Prime Minister in terms of a task that they had to do. And we were having a good old moan. Many of them are having a good old moan in terms of the cost of living crisis and what the Prime Minister needs to do, whether she needs to take her finger out or whatever she needs to do. So we need to win this game of life. And despite the cost of living crisis, we can still win. We can still win this morning. And I'm here to encourage you that you can win. This morning, you can win this morning. And so join in the conversations. I'm just here posting it to whoever I think needs to hear the message. And so do share it. Send me a hi. This morning, we're talking about how we can win in the game of life. And I tell you, if there's not a time that we need to hear a message, it's even now, isn't it? It's now. And so welcome to the show this morning. It's our well-being and mental health show this morning. And so join in the conversations this morning. Join in the conversations. Share the show. If you're going through a struggle, if you're going through adversity, if you're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to cope? How am I going to win? How am I going to survive? Then post this show. Send this show to someone if you need that. If you know that someone needs to listen to the message this morning, then send the show to someone this morning. Send it to someone if you know they need to hear the show. And so, as per usual, you know how I do. Before we start the show this morning, I'm not looking anymore on my phone. Before we start the show this morning, we're going to do our positive affirmations this morning. And let's get the positive affirmations up this morning. And if you can remember, we did a couple of affirmations in terms of overcoming fear last week on the radio show. And so we're going to do something quite similar, but quite different in terms of how we can win in life. And so wherever you are this morning, if you're sitting down or lying down, or if you are if you're out with your family, perhaps you can actually do a rewind to the show. You can listen again then. Okay, someone sent me a message. Okay, then you can listen to the show, rewind and replay the show. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath in. And let's exhale. Let's take a deep breath in again this morning. And let's exhale. I am strong and powerful. So you can repeat after me if you like. My setbacks make me stronger. My struggles are opportunities to grow. I am limitless. I am brave enough to take risks. I can handle anything that comes my way. I will not live in fear. I believe in myself and I will rely on my higher power this morning. And so good morning to you. For those of you that are tuned in, listening to my voice on radio, we're streaming live on Anchor FM via Spotify, and we're streaming live on our social media platforms. And so I'm just going to continue talking. Okay, and so good morning to you for those that are listening for the first time, and particularly for those listeners that are struggling and going through a lot of life's challenges. As we mentioned, in terms of the cost of living crisis, everyone is sort of beside themselves thinking about how are we going to survive? How are we going to get through this? And I just want to encourage you out there in terms of a gentleman called Thomas Carlyle. And remember, he mentioned something quite extraordinary. And what he mentioned was that the block of granite, which was an obstacle in the path of the weak, becomes a stepping stone in the pathway of the strong. And I want to encourage you this morning that that obstacle will prove to be a stepping stone in the pathway for you this morning, for the strong this morning, and particularly in the current climate that we are residing in. I just want to encourage everyone that's listening that that block of granite will become a stepping stone for the pathway of the strong this morning. Whether it's financial struggles this morning, whether you're going through an internal struggle in terms of family and personal relationship, whether it's a spiritual struggle, whether it's a physical struggle, whatever that struggle is this morning, be encouraged that you can continue, you can press on, you can stay on your game. And it's amazing how resilient that we are, that we don't even realize that we are, because despite our struggles, despite our challenges, many of us are still continuing on our game of life. We're still staying on task. We're still doing what we need to do. We're still keeping it real. And that's what it's all about this morning: remaining resilient, remaining determined, remaining persistent, avoiding distractions or avoiding the ability to be distracted, the ability to be deterred, staying on point, staying on your game, no matter what. That's what we're talking about this morning. And many of us are still doing it, still thriving, still shining, still on our game, still staying on task despite the turbulent climate that we're living in. Many of us are still pressing on regardless, because we have got this inbuilt resilience within us without even realizing. Sometimes we underestimate ourselves. We can, like that block of granite that becomes the stepping stone for the strong, we can continue. We can continue. We can recover. We can not only survive, but we can thrive in the midst of turbulence. We can still survive. And I'm here to encourage you on our mental health and well-being show that stay on track, stay on point. And believe me, I'm talking from experience. Stay on point. I'm talking from experience, real life experience. Stay on track. And many of you that know me, you know my backstory. Some of you don't even know my current story. It's hard, it's challenging, but stay on track, because you can do so, because you've got an inbuilt resiliency that you don't even know exists. That's why you keep going. I remember talking to my younger kids. They're not kids anymore, young adults, as it were. And my daughter, my youngest daughter in particular, she goes, "Oh, Mom," because she's moved back to university, in terms of she's now living in a house with her mates. Hi, Anise. Hi, Angie. How you doing? Thank you. Great words of encouragement. How you doing? And she was saying to me, "Oh, Mom, you know what? You make it look so easy," because, she's got bills to pay, real bills. And, they're sort of navigating through their uni life in terms of managing this house that they're sharing. And, they've got their energy bills to navigate through, and their rent and all sorts. And she was saying to me, "Mom, you know what? You make it look so easy." And she knows it's not. And that's life. I mean, all of us out there, mothers, whether you're a single parent mother, whether you're in a partnership, whether you're married, whether you're in a coupleship, whether you're a single father, whatever the dynamics of your situation is, stay on track, stay on point. Because like my daughter, she mentioned, Mom, I don't know how you do it. You make it look so easy. And it's not easy out there. But the reason why it perhaps may seem or appear that we make it look easy is because we've got an inbuilt resilience within us that we are not even aware of. I wasn't even aware of it. When I was going through all my troubles and even current challenges, I've got an inbuilt resilience within me that will not cause me to break, that will not cause me to falter. It's within us. And sometimes I know Angie and Anise can actually resonate with me. We don't know how we do it. We don't know how we're managing, but we're managing. We're striving. And how we can continue to strive and thrive in the challenges of life is to stay on point, stay on task, remain killing it, stay on your goals. Look on your vision board every morning. Look on your vision board. Look on that end game. See and visualize that end game where you want to be. Visualize where your end game is, and you will kill it this morning. You will kill it on this journey of life. And Easy is saying we embrace the journey. Absolutely, we embrace the journey, whether we like it or not. And many of us have been dealt cards of life that some of us are even thinking, oh my God, how am I going to cope? But we need to stay on the game, stay on task, stay on the vision. Whether we want to wake up in the morning or not, whether we want to, we want to do this or not, we need to dress for success this morning. I've got my little colorful blouse on this morning. You don't know what I've got underneath, but we need to be on our game this morning. I'm encouraging you, stay on task, stay on point. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Shut your ears from the noise, because some of these noises are there to distract us. We got political noise. And we know what the agenda of the political noise is out there. Some of us, we've got internal noise. We are in war. We're at war with ourselves. We've got external noise. And I want to encourage you this morning to stay on task, stay on your game, stay on track, look on your vision board daily, and don't allow yourselves to be distracted this morning. I want to read that quote again from Thomas Carlyle. The block of granite, which was an obstacle in the pathway of the weak, becomes a stepping stone in the pathway of the strong. Have you grasped that? The block of granite, which was an obstacle in the pathway of the weak, becomes a stepping stone in the pathway of the strong. And we need to know that this granite is actually a stepping stone for the strong, particularly in the climate that we're living in. And I know some of us might be somewhat stressful and frustrated, and many people are asking themselves, what's happening here? The world that we're living in, the changing climate, what's happening? What's occurring? How am I going to survive? And some of us are even asking ourselves personally, sort of tapping into our past lives, even sort of thinking whether it's an ancestral curse or a generational cycle that we are entrapped with. Trials and tribulations, challenges. But I want to encourage you this morning that they're aiding our growth. They're going to strengthen us internally and spiritually. And we're going to grow those spiritual muscles that we need. We're going to grow those emotional muscles, even those physical muscles for those that go to the gym like myself. We're going to grow those muscles. And as I mentioned, we don't even realize that we have this inbuilt resilience in us. And these trials and these tribulations and these challenges, they only come to shape us so that we can reach our God-given destiny. This morning, I want to encourage you this morning to consider the diamond in terms of how the diamond is being made. And many of us are aware that diamonds are formed in the deep parts of the earth, about 100 miles or so below the surface in the upper mantle of the earth. And obviously, in the part of the earth, it's very hot. It's tremendously hot, incredibly hot. And there's a lot of pressure there. There's a lot of weight that is overlaying the rock, bearing down. And so the combination of the temperature and the high pressures is what's necessary to grow the diamond crystals in the earth. And so if we are going to compare our struggles to how diamonds are formed, then we know that when we reflect on our internal and our external struggles, irrespective of what that looks like, but similar to the diamond, these struggles are perhaps quite deep-seated. They're deep-rooted struggles, generational cycles, archetypes that we have perhaps inherited, and that we have actually attempted to break without our, and we have struggled to break, because it's as if we're on this karmic cycle, this karmic wheel going round the roundabout, never ending. And perhaps it's a cycle of debt, a cycle of lack. Perhaps it's a cycle of illness. But like that diamond that is buried deep in the earth, sometimes we need to go in deep in order to find a resolution and a solution. Irrespective of whether we feel pressured, whether we feel crushed. And sometimes in life, with this cost of living crisis, where we've got energy prices escalating, where we've got mortgage prices and the inflation and the interest rates has escalated, and many of us are thinking, how are we going to survive? How are we going to cope? How are we going to pay our bills? And for people that are trying to go on the ladder for the first time, how can we even afford to buy a house with a 6% rise in interest rates? And for those that are going to be leaving the fixed term mortgages and going on back to the variable rate, where the interest rates fluctuates, they're asking themselves, how are we going to cope? How are we going to survive? Like the diamond that's facing pressure in the depths of the earth. But like that diamond, we will sparkle. Like that diamond, we will glow. We can win if we stay on point. We can win. Despite the betrayal, we can win this morning. Good morning to you, Rose. Good morning to those that are tuning live on Anchor FM via Spotify, or for those that are tuning in live on our social media platforms. Good morning to you all this morning. We can survive. And sometimes we reflect on our lives and we wonder, how did we survive this? Good morning to you all that are listening. How did we survive this? And I sometimes reflect, and you reflect on your backstory, even 3, 2, 5 years ago, and you wonder, how did I survive this? But we survived. We survived. And some of us are thriving. We're no longer depressed. We no longer are plagued with anxiety. Our cancer has been in remission. Some of us have survived. We're no longer in that toxic relationship. We're no longer being abused. We're no longer being neglected. Some of us have survived. And not only have we survived, we have thrived, because our enemies are looking and they're saying, well, wow, how did they do that? We have done that because within us within us, like that diamond that's pressed, that's crushed within us, in the deep pains of the earth, in the deep pans of our pain within us, we have and we can survive. This morning, I'm encouraging you this morning to take stock. To take stock. Everyone's struggling. Everyone is in the mix of this crisis. Everyone is struggling. I was amazed that food bank, I was talking to my students, that food bank that people used to look down on, that had a negative connotation to. We have working class people going to food bank. We have middle class people going to food bank. Food bank is a savior to many families that cannot afford to eat, that cannot afford to feed their families. No one's really looking down on food bank anymore because it's a savior. And that's what life is all about. It's keeping it real, looking at our situation, taking responsibility and accountability for our own and looking it at our looking fear and our challenges and our adversity in the face. And we have to deal with it. We can't dig our heads in the sand and live in illusion that this ain't happening, because if we do that, if we continue to live in illusion and delusion and not take responsibility of our lives, then guess what? We're going to falter. We're going to sink. We're not going to remain on that boat or on that ship of our lives. We have to take control of the rudder, and we need to set that rudder in our lives. We are the anchor of our own ships. We need to set that rudder. We need to say to ourselves that I have to survive. I have to win. I can't lose. We need to look in the mirror daily in the morning when we do our affirmations, and we need to say to ourselves, I have to win. I have to survive this. Some of us have got so many people depending on us to win, depending on us to survive, because if we do not survive, it's going to be to their detriment. We have children, we have grandchildren, we have families that rely on us, and we have to win. We have to win for ourselves. So many people going through betrayal, have been betrayed, have been persecuted unrighteously for things that they haven't done. People wanting them to sink, wanting them to lose, celebrating. But guess what? You're going to win. You're going to win. You're going to shine like that diamond, because your challenges are engineered like that granite for the strong to win in life. We have to deal with the cards that we have been dealt with. And as I mentioned on many shows, some of us were born into toxic, dysfunctional families. Not by our own doing. We didn't choose to be born into these families, but guess what? Is what it is. We've been born into these families. And it is what it is. But guess what? We have got to devise a plan how we're going to win, how we're going to navigate through this that we're in, through the cards that have been dealt with. We can't play the blame game anymore. We have to take autonomy and responsibility of our lives if we're going to ever win this game of life. We have to take responsibility. And so perhaps this morning you're battling breast cancer. Perhaps you're battling cancer or high blood pressure or diabetes, or perhaps there's someone close to you that you know that is on their last legs of life. I've been speaking to someone that I know, and they're struggling to cope because their friend is on the last leg of life. Their family member is on the last leg of life, and they still have to continue. They still have to go on. Perhaps you're out there and you're battling COVID. But I want to encourage you this morning that despite the pressures of life, like that diamond that is pressurized in the deep depths of the earth, that your trials and your tribulations this morning are going to grow you. It's going to make you strong. It's going to devise muscles so that you can cope, so that you can strive, and you will sparkle in the end. You will sparkle. You will shine. You will grow. However, before we can grow, before we can sparkle, we need to do the inner work. The diamond has to separate itself from the other mineral stones. It's separate, it's unique. That diamond, it's unique within itself. And sometimes people don't understand you. They can't comprehend you. It's all good. It's fine. You're unique. You don't have to become like everyone else. You don't have to be a sheep. You don't have to follow the status quo. You can remain your good self, unique. It's all good. It's fine to be you. But before you can sparkle, before you can shine, you need to go within yourself this morning. If you're listening to my voice on radio, on social media, on the YouTube channel, on Anchor FM, on Spotify, in order for you to grow, in order for you to elevate, you need to separate yourself and you need to go within. And you need to do that inner, that shadow work so that you can understand, like that diamond, deep in the deposits of this earth under so much pressure and temperature, so that you can understand who you are. It starts with self-awareness. It starts with self-reflection. Real change starts when we start observing ourselves. Real change does not start when we are observing others. It don't start. And he's just saying, yes, a lot of pressure out there. We must focus. And he's just saying, you're on point. Dawn is saying, yes, it's time to change. And if we're ever going to win this game of life, we have to change. And if we don't change, guess what? The universe is going to force us to change. And when the universe forces us to change, it's not going to be a good look, because it's going to catch us unaware. I would much rather prepare and start doing all the changes that I need to do, start doing the inner work and the shadow work that I need to do. If I want not even to have an easy ride, but at least I'm prepared. Because if you fail to change, the universe will ensure that you change. And it might not be a pretty journey. And so we need to do the inner work. We need to look within ourselves, turn in the mirror. Instead of pointing the finger at everyone else, start turning in the mirror at yourself. Turn the mirror inward. Become self-aware, self-reflective, mindful of you. Start checking yourself. How do you behave? Where's your attitude at? Stop turning the mirror on you and do the necessary shadow work. Start looking into these limited beliefs that you've inherited, these old mindsets that shaped you in terms of how you view and perceive the world at large, that despite what's going on in the world, you still need to stay on point. You need to stay on task to what you need to be doing, to your destiny, to your calling. You need to stay on point. You need to unravel your limiting beliefs, those old patterns, those old habits. And you need to separate yourself like that diamond. Separate yourself. Come out from amongst them. Separate yourself. Be happy in your own skin. Be good to be you. Accept yourself. Accept the cards that have been dealt. And stop playing the blame game. You are responsible for you. You are responsible for your choices. You're responsible for your decisions. And sometimes what we're going through is generational, is archetypal, is ancestral. Curses. Generational dysfunctional themes that we've inherited from our families. We need to do our own inner work in order to unravel, in order to set ourselves free from those toxic, dysfunctional themes, these limiting beliefs, these patterns that have shaped our mindset, that is preventing us to excel, that is preventing us from growing, that is preventing us from evolving. We need to do the work and turn that mirror inwards and have a look at our own We need to separate ourselves. We need to come out from amongst them and not be sheep. Have our own opinions, have our own mindset, our own capacity to think for ourselves, the capacity to make our own choices and our decisions, no matter who is happy or not with our choices. So what? We need to do whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves. We need to stay on task. We need to stick to our goals. We need to constantly look on our vision board. We need to look on our plans. We need to stay consistent. We need to stay on the game of life. If we're ever going to win, we need to stay persistent. We need to stay consistent if we are going to win. We need to stay resilient. We need to stay determined. Despite the storms, despite the rain, we need to stay consistent. Despite the pressure, like the diamond, you will shine. You will win this morning. We need to stay on point. We need to stay on task. We need to take autonomy of our lives. Yes, we were born into a dysfunctional family. Yes. However, you can change the cycle by making different choices. And even if we are plagued with sickness and challenges of life, we can still learn the tools of how we can navigate through our illnesses. We can learn tools and tips how we can strategize our own individual lives instead of looking at others, instead of blaming others, instead of trying to sink others. Because guess what? Whatever you put out there is coming back to you. If you're busy turning that mirror on other people, guess what? The universe is going to get you. Because whatever you put out is coming back. Ensure that what you're putting out is positive energy, is positive frequencies, positive vibrations, because guess what? If it's negative, if it's toxic, it's coming back in full force and it's going to slap you right back in your face, and you've got no one to blame but yourself. So make sure that whatever you're putting out, it's good energy. Because if you're going to win this game of life, it's so crucial that you are flowing on a positive vibration, that you're vibrating on a positive vibration. Dawn is mentioning that. Love this. Exactly what I needed this morning. I appreciate you, Dawn. If we're ever going to win in life, and some of us, we're wondering, oh, what the hell's going on? Oh, why is all this? Some of the things that we're going through is that we've put it on ourselves because of the negative that we've put out there is now coming back. Some of us are living our karma, our negative karma, because of the negative that we've put on other people's lives, trying to destroy people's lives. And we're wondering, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's going to happen because that's the laws of karma, the laws of nature, the laws of attraction. What you put out is what's going to come back to you. So make sure that whatever you're putting out is good energy. It's positivity, because guess what? It's going to meet you back in your face. Even the very Bible that many of you read, it says that whatever you sow, you reap. The laws of nature. Whatever you sow, you reap. So if you're sowing negativity, if you're sowing toxicity, it's going to come back. You're going to reap it. And sometimes you wonder, oh my God, what am I going through? What am I going through? Some of it is you put it on yourself. However, there are some of the struggles and the trials that we're going through is that we have perhaps inherited it. Dysfunctional themes. Generational, archetypal, and then we have to do the inner work and the shadow work to actually turn the mirror in and find out, do some investigation. Go into your family history. There's something that's called DNA family. Go in there, find out. Do your own investigations. Do your own shadow work. Find out about why you think the way you think, why you are the way you are, your limiting beliefs, your dysfunctional themes. Think about, why are you the way you are? You have inherited it. Some of it is inherited. Some of it's been projected. Some of it's been transferred from your dysfunctional themes of your family. And you've accepted it. You've accepted these unlimited beliefs and you are acting them out. They're quite visual for everyone to see. You need to do the inner work if you're going to win this game of life. Because the rain falls on the just and the unjust. The storms of life comes to us all, the rich and the poor. We have seen so many celebrities getting divorced now. Nothing's certain. Those people that you thought that's going to stay together, they're getting divorced. The storms of life comes to us all. I was just reading the other day that Posh Beck is not talking to her daughter-in-law, what's his name, Brooklyn, because she didn't actually wear her wedding dress, or she didn't design her wedding dress. These little silly little trivial things people are actually holding people for. Who cares? They're married. And people will hold you for trivialities. That's not really necessary. And guess what? When you hold people, then you're going to bring illness and sickness to yourself, because guess what? Whatever you put out is coming back to you. However, this morning I want to encourage you that you can shine, you can sparkle. When you've done the inner work, you can win. You can see your desired end when you put in the work. And putting in the work is spending time. It's separating yourself before elevation. Separating yourself from the noise, from the chatter, from the clatter, separating yourself. And some of us are so addicted to social media that we can't separate ourselves from drama. So in our people's business. Separate yourself from the clatter, from the chatter, if you're going to win this game of life. Because there's some battles that you don't even have to fight, because the universe will fight those battles for you. But all you need to do is stay focused and stay on track, stay on point. Do what you believe you are meant to do. What is your calling? What is your destiny? What is your purpose? What's the meaning of your life? Why are you here? Do what you are destined to do, despite the noise, despite the distractions, despite the hating, despite the betrayal. Do what you are purposed to do. Don't become distracted this morning. Good morning, Vernon. How are you doing this morning? Someone is mentioning, good morning, keep up the good work. Whoever you are, many blessings to you. Thank you. I have decided to stay on track this morning. We're living in crucial times this morning, and it's so important. It's so fundamental that we live a life of meaning, that we live a life of purpose, because guess what? It's all going to come to an end soon. I would rather end my life knowing that I did what I'm supposed to do. I want to read you something. Another quote that I enjoy. Put an eagle in a cage and it will bite the bars, whether they be of gold or iron. I'm going to read that again. Put the eagle in a cage and it will bite the bars, whether they be of iron or of gold. And what that is actually telling you, that you can't clip the wings of an eagle. The eagle will bite the bars, whether they be of iron or gold. And there's some people out there that are trying to clip your wings through betrayals, gossip, rumor, hating. I'm here to encourage you this morning that they will not bite, enslave you, because guess what? You will push through those bars, whether they be of gold or iron. You will break through those bars. You are an eagle this morning. You will break through. You will bite through. Whatever you need to do, you're going to push through those bars of betrayal. You're going to push through those bars of gossips. Push through those bars of rumors. Push through those bars of poverty. Push through those bars of finance. Push through those bars of sickness. Push through those bars of depression. Push through those bars of anxiety, because you are an eagle this morning. You will soar. You will fly like the diamond. You will sparkle. Despite being crushed, despite the pressures of life, you will fly. You will soar like the eagle this morning. I'm here to encourage you that you will soar. However, in order for you to soar this morning, you need to separate yourself. You need to separate yourself. You can't soar in the midst of chaos. You can't soar in the midst of dysfunctional themes. You can't soar in a toxic environment. You can't soar with limiting beliefs. You can't soar with a marred schema. You can't soar if you're constantly looking in the rear window, constantly looking in the past, constantly blaming. You cannot soar. And so in order for you to soar this morning, you need to separate yourself. You need to do the inner work. You need to do the shadow work. And I'm talking from experience. From someone that's overcome depression. From someone that's overcome chronic anxiety. From someone that has overcome chronic insomnia. From someone that's overcome a brain tumor. From someone that's overcome toxic narcissistic abuse from personal and family relationships. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience. And if I can soar, If I can continue, if I can stay on task, then you can also. I am just like you, a human being that's gone through and going through the struggles of life. We can soar. It's all in your mindset, and it's all about you separating yourself. Before you can elevate, before you can shine, before you can sparkle like that diamond, you need to separate yourself. Before elevation comes separation. And if you don't separate yourself, as I mentioned before, the universe will separate you. So I would do the work. This morning, we're talking real talk this morning. Vernon is saying he's feeling the energy. We're talking real talk this morning. We're not talking any small talk. I'm not talking for a fan base or to be liked. I'm talking real talk this morning in terms of life's struggles, life's storms, life's challenges. How are we going to survive? How are we going to thrive? How are we going to overcome? How are we going to win this game of life? How? We need to do our own inner work. We need to turn the mirror in. We need to self-reflect. We need to become self-aware of ourselves first before we start putting the finger on others. Start checking yourself first. Self-awareness. With self-awareness comes self-mastery. Because when you're aware of self, you know yourself. You can master yourself when you're aware of self. But when you are deluded or you're fueled with illusion in terms of what yourself represents, or if you are inherently wearing a mask, pretending because you want to be liked, so you do whatever, you become a sheep, you become a yes person, you become a people pleaser because you're wearing a mask, you don't even know who you are. It's time to take away the mask. If you're going to survive this game of life, you have to take the mask off. You have to strip yourself naked. And we're talking about spiritually here. You need to strip yourself naked, unpack those dysfunctional themes, those archetypal, dysfunctional, generational curses that you've inherited, that you've kept, that you've retained. It's your choice. If you want to remain stuck this morning, it's your choice. It's your decision. Stop blaming anyone. It's your choice. Take autonomy. Take responsibility of your life. It's your choice. It's up to you. You can change the course of your life. It's up to you. It's in your mindset. It's up to you. If you do the work, you can make the changes. Dawn is feeling this morning. Vernon is feeling the energy this morning. It's all about energy. And when you've done that self-reflection, you're going to discover that you have to separate yourself, because guess what? You can't gel, you can't vibe, you can't chill with the people that you bonded with in your past life when you were struggling with your trauma self, your old trauma self. You discover that you can no longer gel with these type of people. And these people are looking at you and they're saying, wow, Angela's really changed. Look at Anne, she's not the same. Who does she think she is? I know who I am. And I'm proud of who I am. Thank you. That's who I think I am. So when you do the work, those people that you bonded with your past self, they can't gel with you. You can't bond with them. You can't vibe with them. Because the old you no longer exists. This is the new you. And you're doing the new you. You're not enslaved with the past dysfunctional schemes of your family members or friends. You can no longer gel. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So you're vibing with people that are on your energy level. You're vibing with people that are vibrating on the same level that you're on, that have a growth mindset, that are prepared to grow, that are prepared to do the work, that are prepared to put in the work, that are prepared to go to therapy, that are prepared to go to counseling, that are prepared to see a coach, that are prepared to have a one-to-one, a real honest conversation with their friends that they trust, a real honest conversation with their partner that they trust. They're prepared to do whatever is necessary for growth, not remain trapped in an old pattern and old habits and old thinking, old systems. Break free this morning. Break free this morning. Break free. And like that eagle, fly. Fly. Like that eagle, soar. Fulfill your destiny. Otherwise, ask yourself, why am I here? What am I here to do? What's my purpose? If you refuse to grow, you're going to transfer the similar dysfunctional themes onto your children, and it will be a continuous cycle. If you refuse to change, if you refuse to grow, you're going to continue the pattern. You're going to continue the habit. And so perhaps you're coming from a family that are malice keepers. They hold malice for centuries. Then guess what? You're going to become like that. Perhaps you're coming from a family that's always in debt. Then you're going to become like that. You can break free by making right choices. You can break through by getting the help and the support that you need. Some of us, we can't do this by ourselves. Some of this work, we need help. That's why professional counselors and professional coaches and professional therapists exist, so that you can reach out. We have talking therapists, lots of online resources that you can reach out for. YouTube channel, you have people, you have therapists, you have professionals giving free advice. There is no reason for you to remain stuck this morning. There's too much resources out there for you to remain entrapped, for you to remain enslaved. There's so much free information out there. But the responsibility is you. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to do the inner work? Are you willing to do the shadow work? And if not, as I mentioned, if you refuse to do it, then the universe will force you to do it. You'll find yourselves in situations and circumstances that you don't even know what the hell's happened. And what's happened is because you refuse to do the work, so the universe is going to force you to do the work. And so this morning, do the work. Call that therapist. Reach out to that counselor. Reach out to that coach. And perhaps it's a taboo in your family, it's a taboo in your community to see a coach. It's a taboo in your family to see a therapist. It's a taboo in your family to see a counselor. So what? We need to break these taboos in our community. We need to break them because they're generational cycles. We need to break them. And isn't it a wonder why there's high levels of anxiety and depression in the world that we live in, within our respective communities, within our families? Because we refuse to break the taboo, because we refuse to see the therapist, the counselor, the coach, because some of us are full of so much ego, some of us are full of so much pride that we don't even think we need help, because we've normalized our toxic, limiting belief behavior. We've normalized these dysfunctional themes, thinking that it's normal. And so we don't get the help that we need, and we continue the vicious cycle. This morning, I'm encouraging you, like that diamond, to do the work. We need to also set healthy boundaries. Set healthy boundaries in order to safeguard ourselves. We need to set healthy boundaries. Not everyone that is coming to us is actually coming with anything good. Not everyone. Parasites are attracted to the light. We need to delve into our inner intuition. We need to align ourselves with a higher power so that we can detect who's really coming with something good to us, because not everyone is coming with anything good. Some people are coming to distract you. Some people are coming to dissuade you. And so it's up to us to set those healthy boundaries in order to safeguard ourselves so that we can stay on point, so that we can stay on task, so that we can stay on our game, so that we can win in life. We need to separate ourselves. We need to safeguard ourselves. We need to set healthy boundaries. We need to normalize saying no. We need to say no without an apology. We don't have to attend every event. We need to set our rudder so that we know exactly where we are going this morning. I'm coming to the end of my show. And I just want to thank everyone for listening this morning to the show. And I want to end with our affirmations that we started with this morning. However, if there's anyone out there that is struggling and needs support, then I want you to reach out. If you need a coach, if you need to navigate your life to where you want to go next, then reach out to me. I'm a transformational life coach. I've been there, worn the t-shirt, wearing the t-shirt. If you need a counselor or a therapist, I can signpost you to the support that you need. And many of you knowing my journey, I'm currently doing my master's in psychology and mental health. And I will become that therapist to offer further support along with my coaching practice. And so reach out this morning. Get rid of your pride and your ego this morning. Break free from the taboo this morning and get the help that you need this morning. Reach out. You can inbox me on my social media platforms. Reach out this morning. Don't stay stuck this morning. Break free. Break free. And so I'm going to end with the affirmations that we started with this morning. I am brave enough to take risk. My setbacks make me stronger. I can handle anything that comes my way. I am strong and powerful. I am limitless. My confidence continues to grow. I believe in myself and I will rely on the higher power. Dawn E is saying, fab show, love this. Anise is saying, powerful. Someone else is saying, thank you, Angela. Thank you this morning. You are born for greatness, born to win, born not only to survive, but to thrive in life despite life's obstacles. You've got this. You are killing it. Born for greatness this morning. Thank you for joining me. Born for greatness this morning. Born for greatness. Born for greatness. We speak it into existence. Born for greatness. Born for greatness. I'm going to rise up. Have a great Sunday. I'll see you next week. Woo! Born for greatness. Born for greatness. Born for greatness. Born for greatness. Try to bury me. Woo! Breaking free. Woo! Born for greatness. Take care. Have a great Sunday. Bye.